This is Kamanyaki, a county in eastern Kenya. Home to about 130,000 people, most make their living from farming. But this isn't farming like we know at home. To put it in context, in a good year, a farmer might make 100,000 Kenyan shillings from the sale of his crops. That equates to about €1.60 a day to feed his family. But these people are facing an uncertain future. Climate change has taken hold in this area. Temperatures have risen by about 1 degree since the 1970s, but crucially, the rains are no longer coming when they're supposed to. What this means is that farmers cannot plan when they're going to plant their crops, and oftentimes when they do, they wither in the vine and die.
Well, you'll notice, Paul, here you have an environment that's about like home. It's about 19 degrees, and it shouldn't be 19 degrees. It should be in the mid-20s, because the gathering of moisture in this particular environment needs over a period of time to gather moisture, so that the long rains that they will come, and they normally come in mid-October. Now, it's just so unpredictable, we can't know, and communities can't work with unpredictability. They don't know when to plant, they don't know when to plough, they don't know when to dig the soil, they don't know how to respond because it's unpredictable whether the rains will come. What might happen is the rains will come and then they'll dry up for 6 weeks and everything will die. So that kind of unpredictability is directly related to a global context of climate change, and that is impoverishing communities here in Kenya.
This is Dorothy Carey and her 2-month-old son, Austin. The nearest market is about 4 hours walk away, but she has no crops to sell because the rains haven't come. She lives about 2 kilometres from a river, but has no way of accessing the water which flows so close to her home. Her husband has left the farm in search of work.
She is saying it is difficult, that life is difficult, that the situation is like the rains have not been enough, and they are not able to get food locally around here. So either a member of the family has to go look for casual labor, get some honey, and support the family through buying food, which they also don't have. They don't also access the markets locally.
This is the Tana River, the longest in Kenya. The country is hugely dependent on hydroelectric power, about 70% of which is produced from these waters. Behind me there's about 7 dams, and there's another one planned further downstream. The difficulty is that as climate change takes hold, the levels drop. And as the levels drop, producing power becomes less reliable and leads to higher costs. This adds on to bills for people, many of whom can't afford them.
When the rains fail in Kenya, especially arid and semi-arid parts, like where we are in Tharaka Nithi County, there are various scenarios that present themselves. One scenario is people are involved in illegal activities, like poaching wild animals, stealing from one another. People are also, like women and young ladies, are involved in sexual affairs in exchange of food or in exchange of money, which by the end of the day it poses the threat of HIV and AIDS. There's also another scenario of malnutrition, because when food is not there, the children suffer from malnutrition-related diseases and they end up dying.
This is the Gatogo Kamandi Water Project, a pipeline that runs for 40 kilometres behind me. Built since 2012, it serves approximately 1,400 families, around 8,500 people. It's essential to keep these people on the land and allow them to make a livelihood, because it provides water allowing them to irrigate their crops. It's not particularly expensive to construct, about €450,000. However, the resources don't permit more of these pipelines to be built.
Farmers are already feeling the benefit from this pipeline. The first waters began to flow last May, and it's making the difference between life on the land or an uncertain future elsewhere.
This is what the land typically looks like in this region. It's dry, it's arid, it's rocky. It's very difficult to grow anything on it. However, water makes an enormous difference. This farmer here grows melons, he grows pawpaw, kale, passion fruit. He has already received enough income from his harvest this year to send his son to school.
But what is benefiting me now, they are the cues, the sweet potatoes, the cassavas, the canes, sugar canes you have seen there, the sunflower that I grow for my chickens, and the maize. That is currently what I'm concentrating on.
And tell me, are you making money from the farm?
Yes, very good money. Now, every day, at least I make 800, even if not today. If I don't sell today, tomorrow I make 1,000, the other day 1,500. My average My current average is 800 per day.
So a huge difference.
Almost five times the money I was working as a casual laborer and what I'm doing here in the farm.
The result of what I'm holding now is water, and we have 300 farmers who are connected to water in this region, and we're intending to connect the remaining farmers so that we're able to cover the whole of the project area within the year. We have been able to spend 45 million shillings to come up with this water project that has really helped farmers in this region to become food secure, and we can as well extend to other areas. The only limiting factor are the resources. We are not able to reach out to many more because the resources we have are only enough to cover the 1,419 farmers.
My appeal is, in this scenario, if we can get well-wishers to assist us with the seeds to plant, so that, because we are in the process of preparing farms now, if they can help us with the seeds to plant and subsidize what the government of Kenya is doing, we would appreciate and become happy. Thank you.